E3.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Not So Super Bash Bros E3 coverage 2018. Hence, B3.
Hashtag B3.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a solid 3.
Yeah.
Before we get to anything, Hans, I think it's important to jump back a week.
Okay. Yeah.
We did our pre-E3. Our pre-3 thingy.
Predictions and recap.
Yeah. A lot happened in that week after we did that.
Whatever do you mean, Nick?
They announced a new Fallout game, Hans.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, it's probably worth covering that this is probably arguably the biggest piece of news that came out between us recording and actual E3 happening. So
140,000 people sat and watched the fucking standby screen.
yeah, they put up a stream saying, yeah, please stand by, and that eventually turned into a trailer for Fallout 76. It was just a trailer, very little information came out about it, but there was reports that it would be a online survival type game in the vein of Rust or DayZ. And we were just told, here, we'll go into more detail at E3. Which they did, Hans.
Yes, jump back 24 hours, Nick, to the Microsoft conference.
We don't even need to. They showed that trailer again.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But we open up with quite possibly the weirdest stage layout an E3 press conference has ever had. It was like a runway. It was like a catwalk.
Was there another screen behind the one facing the hard camera, or were those people just staring?
No, I think that was a screen on either side.
Okay,
like essentially that stage was like symmetrical.
But most of the people were just staring at the back of the person giving the presentation.
Yeah.
Then,
at least like when Todd Howard was out there later on, he kind of walked around the stage was chatting to both sides of the audience as well. It was just really funny. It just seemed like, yeah, it was such a weird layout for a stage. Pete Hines takes a pot shot at that Walmart Canada leak, which, to be fair, is actually like fucking batting 1,000 right now. That's been right on every account so far, I think. So yeah, that he spins us into Rage 2, and we get a live Andrew WK performance, Hans. And some of the best crowd shots in the world.
What, were they just rocking out with their cocks out?
Some people were like, yeah, Andrew WK, and other people were just like, looking there like aghast, but like, what the fuck is this? I like Andrew WK. That dude just seems like he likes having fun.
He just likes to party hard, is that
yeah,
what
he just likes to party, and I can appreciate that. Then we get a guy from Bethesda, a guy from id, and a guy from Avalanche comes out. The height difference between them is like comical.
Could you not have just had them sitting down or something so it wasn't as distracting?
It was really dumb. And then they launch into a gameplay demo of Rage 2, which to me kind of just seems like Borderlands.
I thought it looked a lot like Doom, minus the blood guts.
Yeah,
just how fast paced and quick the action was, and constantly moving. I think you're right. Like tonally, it looks a lot and feels a lot like Borderlands, but gameplay wise, I would say it's more akin to Doom.
I also think the tone is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, because the enemies seem like crazy and nuts, where the main character's like,
yeah, he's like, they took everything from me, I'm the last one alive, and it's like, whoa, party!
Yeah, fucking multicolored mohawks over there, like.
It was kind of weird. But I think, I'll admit, I think it looks neat. Like, it's piqued my interest a lot more than the original did.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Like, at least it's got some character, even if it is slightly schizophrenic.
Yeah. That's coming out spring 2019. Then we get a brief look at The Elder Scrolls Legends, their card game. The biggest takeaway from that trailer is it's not coming to consoles, in addition to the PC and phones. We get a trailer for The Elder Scrolls Online and what they're doing, so they just released a new expansion in Somerset. They announced 2 new DLCs here, one based on the werewolf stuff and one based in the Black Marsh, yeah. Then we get, Hans, a trailer for Doom Eternal.
Hey, Nick, do you remember during the recap thing, you were like, man, I don't think we'll see another Doom for a couple of years.
I don't think it was going to be a couple of years. I thought it would be very weird to show another Doom this soon. And I think maybe Rage 2 leaking has forced their hand a little bit. Like, I think this would have been fully revealed at QuakeCon. They're teasing it's going to be like Hell on Earth, and we get a full reveal at QuakeCon in August.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. It was kind of the next natural step that Hell comes to Earth, and it'll be interesting to see what Earth is like. Obviously, it'll be taken over by Hell, but like, what does Earth look like in this slightly futuristic scenario?
Then we get a trailer for Quake Champions. And this is where I realized that literally every presenter so far has stopped after every sentence for an applause, and I was like, Jesus Christ, if this continues, this is going to take fucking ever. Kind of nothing major comes out of that Quake Champions trailer, apart from it's going to be free to keep this week, so if you download it this week, it is yours to keep.
I just... That to me screams like, okay, this isn't as popular as we thought it was going to be.
Well, it's still in early access.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be free when it actually fully launches. Then we get some information about Prey. That game that everyone loved.
That was kind of cringy.
Yeah. New modes. They're getting a new game plus mode and a survival mode. They're getting Moon Crash, which seems like free DLC. It didn't really make it clear if it was free or not.
Is it a story? Was there any story ones? Because I switched off for this part, to be honest.
No, the Moon Crash stuff seems like it's going to be like a roguelike type thing with randomized like areas and stuff. It's available now, but they didn't say if it was free or priced. And then they said there's going to be a new mode called Typhon Hunter, which seems like their version of like the Garry's Mod prop hunt stuff.
Oh, that's clever, I suppose.
Yeah, especially like with the world where like the Mimic stuff is so prevalent. Yeah, that's probably a smart idea to do that. And then we get some information about Wolfenstein 2, and that dude was the guy who was vaping non-stop at the Giant Bomb post-show the other year.
Right, okay.
Which I thought was really funny. They announced Wolfenstein Youngblood, which seems like similar to how the Old Blood was to the original Wolfenstein, kind of like a standalone DLC thing.
Yeah, set in the 80s, and it's BJ's daughters.
Yep, set in the 80s with BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters. That's coming next year.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're shooting it to the 80s. I think the soundtrack's probably going to be really fucking cool.
They said it'll be cool.
Oh, well, it could be fun.
Pete Hines then comes back out and says Prey and Wolfenstein will be getting VR things, not necessarily full games in VR.
At least they learned their lesson not to just make the entire show about it.
Yeah, they're not going to be full games, like you're not playing Wolfenstein or Prey in VR, but they will be getting story, like smaller VR experience type things. Which
is the right way to do it.
Then he introduces Todd Howard to chat some game about Fallout 76 Hands. But first, we get that Skyrim gag was really good.
Yeah, the Key and Peele one.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Then they play the same trailer from Microsoft, which I thought was a bit weird. It just seems weird to show literally the exact same trailer.
On the same day, technically, as well.
Yeah. Then he starts going through some stuff, and I have a couple of notes here. Some of those new monsters look absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, I do like the new monster. I thought there was not a single new monster design I didn't like, and like that golem thing, holy shit.
There's one later on this show that I want to give a special note to. It's the giant mutant sloth.
Yeah.
It was fucking terrifying.
Did you notice, though, for the giant bat, it was just straight up a dragon from Skyrim?
Yeah.
Everything about it was just the exact same thing. The way it moved, the way its attacks, it was a dragon from Skyrim.
But no, that sloth like put the fear of God in me. It was like a sloth that was like the size of a gorilla. It was fucking... Oh, it's so weird.
What is it about this E3 and terrifying animals?
I don't know.
Between the grouse and now the fucking sloths and bats, like, what the fuck?
So then, Todd Howard drops the bombshell. This will be entirely online. He does reinforce that you will still be able to play this as a solo experience, but you will be on a server with other people by the sounds of it.
But then it's a similar thing to Anthem where he says you can play it solo, but it'll be more difficult. And you're just like, that's not playing it solo. It's like whenever someone makes a single player game and throws in multiplayer, they've made a multiplayer game and thrown in single player. I don't like. I said it before we started. I just don't understand how people have played Fallout 4. Played any Fallout game and thought, you know what, this could use a multiplayer survival mode.
I counter that with something needed to change. Fallout 4 was, yes, it did very well, but was not critically well received. If they had just pumped out another Fallout game, I think it would have been the wrong move. But they needed to do something different with it to say we are willing to change up the formula.
I don't know. There are better ways to implement a multiplayer into Fallout than survival multiplayer because, and you said it yourself, like survival multiplayer isn't a thing now. Or like, it was great 4 years ago. You even said yourself, did Bethesda not get the memo? I just think you want to add multiplayer, sure, okay, but a survival one where you go about building bases is not the way to do it.
So the other stuff that came out of it, he said this will be this will be a softcore survival game. So they made it seem like if you die, you're not gonna. It's not like say Rust, where you lose everything you had, you lose all your experience and stuff. So I imagine if you die, maybe you just end up spawning back at the vault or something like that.
I'm kind of upset about the scenario. Obviously, the fact that you're the first settlers out in the wasteland after like just 25 years since the bomb dropped, or something. Is it something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fact that story might take a back burner because obviously it's multiplayer now. There's a lot of cool scenarios that they might miss out on, like a chance to really explore, like your first interaction with a ghoul, not a feral ghoul but an actual ghoul, and not knowing whether to trust it because it's so disgustingly horrifying.
But I don't think that. I think that's kind of what they're getting at, is a lot of those things haven't evolved yet. Like the ghouls, normal ghouls came about because people were just being naturally exposed to radiation, being out and about. It was more like the ambient radiation was causing ghouls rather than the blast.
But was there not super mutants? And like, to me, would that not be something that has to come about via hundreds of years of mutation? Whereas they just look exactly the same as if you've been playing Fallout 3 or 4. I just think there's a lot of, like, don't get me wrong, that was actually another issue. Like, I thought it would have been a lot cooler if, say, you meet super mutants, but they're like cavemen levels of intelligent. They can't use guns and shit yet because they haven't evolved that far. So I think they've actually missed a lot of cool beats for this, because there could have been a lot of cool story elements.
They said that the way this was worded weirdly, and kind of probably could have done with being explained. They said there will be like every person you meet will be real. Yeah. Which, like, does that mean there's going to be like no idea of NPCs in the game?
Yeah, like, how do you get quests then,
Yeah, like, is it just you have those 6 places that the Overseer tells you to go colonize, essentially, and then that's it?
Until someone comes along and nukes them.
Yeah, so that's the next thing, is the idea they showed this thing called the camp, all capitalized, like, it's an abbreviation, like the gecko. So that seems like it was going to be like, oh, you deploy that, and then it'll, like, that's what spawns your building area. Mm-hmm. But it seems like you kind of also pick that back up, and everything will get stored away, essentially.
Yeah.
Seems like something like that, so you can kind of, like a mobile base of operations. They showed off this idea of nukes, which you can launch and seems to kind of like reset the area. They said there will be a beta, which they turned into a wee funny abbreviation. They showed off a collector's edition, which comes with a fully wearable Brotherhood of Steel helmet.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I thought that glow-in-the-dark map looked pretty dope.
Of course you did.
And it gets a date, 14th of November. Which, yeah, I think everyone probably assumed it would be this year, given Bethesda's previous track record of announcing things.
Are you excited for it?
This made me excited for it, compared to the leaks that came out.
I would not say I'm excited, but I would say I'm interested to see what way they go with it. Like, the fact that there is no, if they're implying there's no NPCs and stuff, like, is it literally just going to be Rust because it didn't have quests and stuff? You literally just go out and survive. And if they do go that route, are they going to charge a full £50 for it? Because it's not really a complete game in my eyes if there's nothing like that. Do you think, just popping in my head, I think if VATS won't be a thing in this then? How could you incorporate it with other players there?
You could always do it so it maybe just doesn't slow down time. Then Todd Howard, similar to how they did Fallout Shelter a couple of years ago, he announces a big mobile game for the Elder Scrolls Blades.
Yes, I actually thought this looked quite cool.
Yeah, it does seem like they've kind of tried to put the full, like, Elder Scrolls RPG experience on a phone. And, yeah, it looks cool. I think this would be a really good Switch game. I think he did say they plan on bringing it to consoles. That's coming for free this fall, he said, with some they're doing like a beta type or pre-access type thing. Mm-hmm. And then he Columbus us hands.
How so?
He looks like he's about to leave and he goes, oh, one more thing. In fact, he Columbus us twice, to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of does.
The first thing, we get 2 very brief trailers. The first one for Starfield, which they claim is their next big new IP RPG thing. It seems like it's going to be like an RPG set in space.
Yeah, someone in the chat mentioned it was going to be No Man's Sky, and I thought, you know what, see if they actually kind of took the core stuff from a No Man's Sky, but, fixed it, and added their Bethesda-ness to it. That's not a bad idea.
And then we get another trailer for the very brief fucking Lord of the Rings style panning shot across a mountain, essentially, of the Elder Scrolls 6.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
I was right.
Hey, Hans, that's probably not coming out till 2025.
Nick, my prediction was not that we would see much of it, not that it was coming out soon. I said we will see a new Elder Scrolls. And what did we see? A brand new spanking Elder Scrolls.
The Elder Scrolls, especially to me, seems like, please shut the fuck up about this. We are making it. I can actually give you a probably mind-blowing reason why.
Why?
Because there's no subtitle. Think of how big a name Elder Scrolls has become, or not even Elder Scrolls. When they put out Oblivion, people call it Oblivion. People don't call it the Elder Scrolls 4. People don't call it the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Skyrim has become a brand in itself. And the fact, I think they put a lot of emphasis on the subtitle, and the fact they don't have one yet shows that this is it probably hasn't even been fucking decided where they're putting it. This is probably just them saying, please shut the fuck up about this. We are going to make an Elder Scrolls 6.
I don't know. I would say that it's probably in pre-production. I would say, I don't know. So you said, we won't see this till 2025. I know you're hyperbolating some amount. I don't think it's a shut the fuck up. I think it's in pre-production. And they're probably, maybe they haven't decided where to put it. But I think that it's definitely in pre-production. Otherwise, honestly, you wouldn't even have a fucking logo if it wasn't in pre-production.
I would say, Starfield will be a big part of their next year conference, I would say. But I would be shocked if the Elder Scrolls 6 even has, more than... I would be very shocked if it's coming anytime soon.
I would say, come next year, we'll be seeing gameplay of Starfield and probably a story trailer for Elder Scrolls 6.
If Elder Scrolls 6 comes out before 2023, I will personally buy you my own, Alex's, and IY's copy. It's 5 years' time. If we are not playing Elder Scrolls 6 by holiday 2023.
We really will have to write that down somewhere.
I'm just, it just seems... such a weird way to announce it when they've hanged their hat so much on Skyrim as a brand that they would not try and do the same for Elder Scrolls 6.
Well, maybe with the Bethesda nowadays isn't the Bethesda we're used to, Nick. Huh? Does that sound familiar? Huh?
Yeah,
does
maybe.
It?
There is some... I think if they'd left it at Starfield, I wouldn't have these worries. It just seems weird that they would go out of their way to announce the next 2 games if it's not just to kind of get the fans off their back. Because I reckon it would have got, probably would have got people off their back saying, oh yeah, we have this new IP we've been working on. It'll be the next game. And that enough is probably enough to say, oh yeah, fair enough, as long as at least they're doing something and not just pumping out Fallout. Then it probably would have stopped people at least for a while saying, oh, where's Elder Scrolls 6, where's Elder Scrolls 6? Stop re-releasing Skyrim. But yeah, that was it for Bethesda. Overall, I thought this was a very good show. Bar maybe a bit of a misstep at the end. I thought this was a very good show. Far better than last year anyway, which wouldn't have been hard.
It was a good show. Excited for a good couple of things on this. Sorely disappointed about one thing on this. I still just can't get over the mystery of that stage setup. But honestly,
it was there's been a fashion show here yesterday. Fuck it, let's just stick our screen on that catwalk. It'll be grand. That's it. Join us later, tomorrow, later. I don't know what's next. Ubisoft. So Square Enix is next, I think.
Yeah, Square Enix at 6, and it'll be at the same day as this, yeah. So later.
See us later, but for now, it's a goodbye from Hans.
Party hard, Nick.
And I'm reminding you to party hard. See you next time.
Party, party, party.
You have no idea what that song sounds like, do you?